So there's been a number of organizations and entities we've worked with to help us partner to advance our sustainability and conservation practices on our farm. And so one that really has been instrumental in helping us get started as a first generation farmer. Well, yes, I'm first generation. My husband grew up on a farm, but not here. But we've worked with NRCS to help us get started with a number of conservation practices that really are focused related to rotational grazing plans and also um, managing our woodlands and we're currently working on a project where we are renovating a old oak savanna that used to be a grassland that kind of got overgrown into a buckthorn jungle. And so there is a number of projects we've been working with on our land to help either implement new practices. So that's, the grazing piece, converting cropland into pasture and hay ground, being able to get water out to our pastures in a more effective manner. And then, in the woodland side of things, really looking at how do we really rehab that part of our or resource on our land or on our farm to not only be able to utilize it as a future grazing and feed source for our livestock, but also be able to utilize it so it is serving our wildlife population in our area too, because with that buckthorn, it's just not, there's not a lot of going on there for a feed source, even for our wildlife that lives in our area. Some of the other resources and organizations we've partnered with have included working with our local watershed group. I've been involved with the Western Wisconsin Conservation group, and particularly through field days and also attending some of the meetings. While the organization has been more focused on row crop farming and dairy farming, which is different than we do. I'm used to being kind of the outlier of what we do on our farm, raising goats and sheep, but it's been really interesting to take a look and learn about other practices. And also, I'm always thinking about, okay, so how can I take those approaches and apply them on our land? I also, just from being a farmer in our community, really appreciate learning and understanding what some of my peers might be using on their farms that maybe I don't necessarily am putting those practices to play just because of the nature of what we're farming and how we're farming. I will say it's been fun to kind of look at learning about, utilizing no-till farming practices. How we utilize no-till is very different than some of my farming peers in the area. We have a little no-till drill we use for pasture improvement. But it's still, there's a lot of things I've learned and find value from seeing what other farmers are doing. And then, this is like for everybody, you kind of look at it and figure out how you apply it into your context, or where does it maybe have an approach. So it's been really valuable to have these partners in our community to be able to do that. And I would also add getting to know other farmers in my area, whether it's through these organizations or just through other connections I have been really valuable in learning and continuing to learn how to be a better steward of how we take care of our land. Just that peer-to-peer interaction has been very valuable.